I want to tell you a story today, probably my favorite story in the Bible. It's a story about a man that I've obviously never met before, but that I feel like I know really, really well. His name is Mephibosheth. He was the son of King Jonathan and the grandson of Saul. And for those who don't know, King Jonathan was best friends with David, who killed Goliath. They were so close that the Bible actually says that they were closer than brothers. And they were friends even though Saul and David were enemies. Saul hated David. He tried to kill him on multiple occasions. And they fought each other for many years. And unfortunately, their rivalry ended with Saul and Jonathan dying in a very gruesome battle. The death of Saul and Jonathan sent shockwaves of sadness and grief throughout the whole country. People were in panic and in distress, but at the same time there are a lot of people who wanted to use this opportunity to steal the kingdom and take it as their own. And because of that, there were riots that broke out. Now at this point, young Mephibosheth was probably like 5 years old, and the lady who was taking care of Mephibosheth, she wanted to get him out of the chaos to keep him safe. And so she tried to escape the palace with him, but when she ran, she slipped and fell, and Mephibosheth broke both his legs. These days, if you break a leg or if you break your arm, it heals, you get better. But back then, it meant that Mephibosheth would never be able to walk again. The Bible doesn't say much more about his young life than this, but we can assume that life was not easy for him. Back then, they didn't have the opportunities that we have to play Fortnite for a living or be an Instagram model or something. You worked on your own 2 feet with your own 2 hands, and if you didn't work, you didn't eat. So we can assume that he was forced to beg, and maybe he was forgotten and discarded by some king that stole the throne, and maybe the son of a king was left behind. Now many years later, David becomes king, finally, as all the prophecies foretold. Yet all is not well in David's heart, for he greatly misses his friend Jonathan and wishes that he was still with him. And so he calls in the servant from Saul's house that knew the family very well, and so he asks him if there's anyone of Jonathan's family still alive, anyone that he could love and bless. And so the servant goes, there is this one named Mephibosheth. He is lame in both legs. And David says, well, go find him. Wherever he is, bring him back. And they look for him, and they find him in this town named Lodabar, on the other side of the country, actually on the other side of the Jordan River. And the name Lodabar actually means no place or nowhere. And what's also really interesting is that the name Mephibosheth means from the mouth of shame. So the king, the son of a king, ended up a forgotten man in a forgotten place. Despite that, they found him, they brought him back, dressed him up, sat him at the king's table of all places. And David makes this big declaration that for the rest of Mephibosheth's life, he will sit at the king's table and he will be taken care of. In fact, David actually promises that everything that Saul left behind now belongs to Mephibosheth. In a moment, his life was turned around for the better. Now I can identify with Mephibosheth. I am also a broken and bleeding man. I was born with a condition that left my body half as strong as it should be. Since I was a baby, I've struggled with my own 2 feet. I've had surgeries all my life and been in and out of hospital for just as long. I have seen pain and sorrow that I cannot exactly explain with words. I identify with Mephibosheth because I am Mephibosheth. I'm a boy, broken and forgotten, living in the middle of nowhere. And maybe you feel the same. Maybe you feel forgotten. Maybe you feel like you're nowhere. Maybe you feel broken and you're not exactly sure when it all went wrong, but something just doesn't feel right. Maybe you're stuck and you have no idea how to get back on your feet. Maybe you're hungry, but you don't feel welcome anywhere long enough to eat something. Maybe you're tired, but you can't seem to find a place to rest. Maybe you feel a bit like Mephibosheth. The beauty of his story and my story is there's nothing that I am, nothing I could ever do, but only because who my father is. The king picked me up and gave me his seat at the table. Sorry. And better yet, he came to sit at my table. That's what it's about, isn't it? To find a table we're welcome at. You see, our lives are a lot like tables. They're where we work, they're where we eat, they're where we spend time with family and friends. And whether or not you believe there is a king at your table, your table deserves your attention. So don't let just anyone sit down at your table. Get good people at your table. Surround yourself with good people. People who will bring good food to the table, not just junk food. People who care about you. Make sure there is good food at your table. Things that will feed you, not poison you. Don't waste your time on things that won't feed you, that won't fill you up, or that you don't even really enjoy. Don't let fear and anxiety prevent you from enjoying your table. And most of all, don't worry about what your table looks like. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's. It can be big or small, polished with jagged edges. That doesn't matter. As long as you enjoy good meals, good memories with good people. In fact, a table is best enjoyed when it is served. So don't waste your life away making your table the best it can be for yourself, but for others as well. Serve others and allow the good people at your table to serve you. And maybe welcome a cripple every now and again. And as a final charge, I leave you, Fellowship College, with this. We are all cripples, one way or another. We can try to make things the best that they can be, make our tables the best that it can be for ourselves and maybe even for other people. Yet there is a king. There is a king who desires to be at your table, who desires for you to be at his table. And his table, said, never runs dry. In fact, he desires for you to feel safe again. He wants to take you from this place of nowhere and put you somewhere, to pick you up from the floor and help you to stand. Hear his knock on the door today and answer him, and do not dare to leave a hungry man waiting.